Good morning. So we're going to work on the angle relationships. So using angle relationships, I'm going to include the proof for proving vertical lines. Okay. So prove vertical angles, congruent proof. Okay, so we're given that the measure of angle A is equal to 62 degrees. Okay. And we need to prove that vertical angles are congruent. So we're going to prove that angle A is equal to angle D. Okay, so that's going to be our last statement. So let's do our diagram. Parallel lines. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. It's H. H is right there. Okay, so we are going to prove, so we're going to do our statements. Remember, everybody, you can just do an S if you want. And our reasons. Okay, and so we're going to have the measure. So happy fall, everybody. It's the fall equinox. So the measure of angle A is 62 degrees. So we're going to start with our given. Okay, and then we're going to do angle A and B. Okay, so we're going to start with angle A and B. Last year I'm going to do A and C. Okay, and we're trying to prove that A and D are congruent. So A and C are a linear pair. And that's by the definition of a linear pair. They are next to each other and they form a straight line. So since they are a linear pair, that means that A and B, so angles A and C, are supplementary. And that's by our linear pair postulate. Okay, so we have that angle A and angle B. So that means that the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle C is going to equal 180 degrees. Okay, and that's the definition of supplementary. Okay, so that means also that, so for angle A, measure of angle A, okay, we know is 62 degrees. So we're going to substitute in 62 plus the measure of angle B, measure of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, and that's going to be substitution. And so then we're going to subtract 62 from both sides. 180 minus 62 is going to be 118. So the measure of angle C is 118 degrees. So that's subtraction. So it's a subtraction property of equality. And we also have the measure that, so now we know, okay, now we also know that C and D, okay, are also a linear pair. So angle C and angle D are a linear pair. and that's by definition of a linear pair. So they're next to each other and they form a straight angle. Okay, and since they form a straight angle, okay, they are supplementary. So angle C and angle D are supplementary. And that's our linear pair postulate. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use, so the measure of angle C, okay, remember we had that up here. So the measure of angle C plus measure of angle D is going to equal 180 degrees. Okay, and that's the definition of supplementary. Okay, are you kind of noticing a pattern here? So we had definition of supplementary up here as well. Okay, same with linear pair postulate and definition of linear pair. Okay, and then we're going to do substitution. So I'm going to substitute in for angle C 118 degrees. What's the measure of angle D? Is equal to 180. Okay. So then we're going to substitute, so that would be substitution. So substitution. Okay. And then we're going to subtract 118 from each side. So we're going to get the measure of angle D is 62 degrees. And we use our subtraction property of equality. Okay, so subtraction property. And then we're going to put in, so now we know that the measure of angle C and angle D, they are congruent to each other. So the measure of angle C, sorry, measure of angle A is 62 degrees, and the measure of angle D is also 62 degrees. Okay, so that is our transitive property. So that also means that the measure, so that angle A, okay, so they are congruent to each other. So it means that angle A is equal to angle D by definition of congruent. So they have the same measure. Okay, so now that we got that one, let's go ahead and talk about solving angle relationships. Okay, so solving angle relationships. Okay, so if we have these angles, okay, and this one is 7x plus 5, and this one is 6x plus 13. Okay, so we want to first identify, everybody, what is the angle relationship for this one. So the angle relationship for this one, everybody, is they're on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so same side, and we're same side, and we skip this angle, so they are corresponding. Same side, skip one, is corresponding. So they are corresponding angles. Okay, and corresponding angles are related because they are congruent. Okay, so we're going to set those two equal to each other and solve for x. Okay, so we set those two equal to each other. So everybody, we need to know the angle relationship so we know how to set up our problem to solve. So we're going to go ahead and set them equal to each other. I'm going to subtract 6x from each side. I use the smaller one. So we get x, okay? And then we're just going to bring down the 5. Bring down that 13, okay? Then we're going to subtract 5 from each side using our subtraction property. 13 minus 5 is 8, okay? If we needed to find the angle, I would substitute in, so 7 times 8 plus 5, okay? 7 times 8 is 56 plus 5, so we would get 61 degrees. Okay? So that would be for the angle. Okay, let's look at some more examples of these, everybody. So this is the solve an angle relationship, so part 3. And this is a little bit of 3.3 that we're 3.2. So today is the 22nd. It's fall. Okay, so let's keep going on solving angle relationships. Okay, so we're going to have, so let's say that we have this one. Do the diagram over here. Okay, so this is 19x. Okay, and this is 2, 7 plus 8x. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and we look at what their angle relationship is for these, everybody. So what's their angle relationship? So they're on opposite sides of the transversal, everybody. So opposite sides of this transversal. They're inside the house. Okay, everybody. So they're inside, in between the two parallel lines. Okay. So that means that they're alternate interior angles, everybody. So they're alternate interior. So alternate interior angles. Okay, alternate interior angles, how are they related? They are congruent. Okay, so that means that we're going to set the equation up. We're going to set them equal to each other. So we're going to go 2, and parentheses 7 plus 8x is equal to 19x. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do distributive property, everybody. So that just means we multiply. So 2 times 7, we get 14. 2 times 8x is going to be 16. Okay, and we get 19x. We're going to subtract 16x from each side. Okay, we subtract it. 19 minus 16 is 3. Is equal to 14. Divide each side by 3. Okay, and we get x is equal to 14/3. And we can leave it like that. Okay, remember 3 over 3 is going to be 1. Okay, let's look at another one, everybody. What if we have this one? Some black place by everybody. Okay, so we have this one. So we're going to have, this is x plus 100 equals 83 plus x. Okay, we want to know how are they related. Okay, so everybody, so they are next to each other. So they are a linear pair. and they are supplementary. Okay. So remember, we just talked about that in that proof. So if they're supplementary, that means that we're going to set them equal to 180. So we're going to go x plus 103 plus 83 plus x is equal to 180. Okay. We're going to combine like terms. So we're going to add the x's together, everybody. Remember with the x's that has invisible 1 in front of it. So that means it's going to end up being 2x. We add the numbers. So 103 plus 108 is going to be 186. We're going to subtract 186 from each side. Remember what we do into one side, everybody, we got to do the other side. So we're going to get 2x is equal to negative 6. Divide each side by 3. Sorry, divide each side by 2. I'm going ahead of myself. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Okay. We are all done. If they ask us to find the angles, you would just substitute it in. So negative 3 plus 103 would be 100. Okay, the other angle, same thing. So 83 plus negative 3 is 80. And we could check it, because if we add these together, 100 plus 80 is 180. So we got it. Okay, so everybody, that's finding the angles if we need to do that. Okay, so what if we have these ones? Okay, so what if we have these angles? And I'm going to use the same diagram. Hold on one second. What's that? Okay, so we're going to have, so let's say we're going to use the same diagram. So I have this 6x plus 16 is equal to 8x. Okay, so the angle relationship, everybody, for that one, okay, is that they are across from each other. So those are vertical angles. Okay, so they're vertical angles, which means that they're congruent, which is, remember we had that in our proof. So we're going to set those two equal to each other. So 6x plus 16 is equal to 8x. I'm going to subtract 6x from each side, so I don't have a negative coefficient. Remember what we do to one side, got to do the other side. So we're going to get 2x. Divide each side by 2. Get x is equal to 8. Okay. Again, everybody, if we had to find the angle, 8x, we just substitute in 8. 8 times 8 is 64 degrees. Okay. So it means, everybody, for both of these angles, that they are 64 degrees. Okay. One more example. Okay, so let's do this one. So we're going to draw our parallel lines. Okay, and we have, don't let that drawing, everybody. It should be slanted. Okay. Okay, so we have, so this is going to be this is going to be x plus 403, and this is going to be 2 times x plus 21. Okay, we look at where those angles are, everybody, and those are on the same side of the transversal. So they're on the same side of the transversal. This is our transversal. And they are inside, so they're in between those two parallel lines. So they're on the same side inside, so they are consecutive interior angles. Okay, so everybody, so consecutive interior angles. Consecutive interior angles, okay, which means that they are supplementary. Okay, so we're going to set them equal to 180, so x plus 143 plus 2 times x plus 21 is equal to 180. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do distributive property, okay, and then we'll combine like terms. So we're going to do 2x plus 42 equals 180, and then x plus 143. Okay, we're going to combine like terms. Everybody remember that that x has an invisible 1 in front of it. So 1x plus 2x is going to be 3x. 143 plus 42, 185. Okay, I'm going to subtract it from both sides. So we're going to get 3x is equal to negative 5. Divide each side. So we're going to get x is equal to negative 5/3. Okay, everybody, you got this.